Welcome to the finale for Season 4 of The Lord of the Rings Online. I really hope you enjoyed the Lowlands, but it's time to move on to bigger, more exciting things, so I hope you're pumped up about that. As with every other season finale so far, I tie up all the loose ends of the season, I go over a bunch of things and update my character. So what I usually do is I give myself a new title, I get a new pony, I craft a new set of gear, I update my class points and traits and virtues, I go over all the deeds for the season and all the reputation factions and tie up any other loose ends that I can. So as a reminder, if you go to my website at renaissancegaming.net/lotro.html, you can go to the completionist checklist and see everything that I accomplished this season, what quests I'm still missing that I may need to come back for in the future. So that's all exciting stuff. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, since I just finished up the Lowlands, I gave myself a new title, Kip and Proud Feet Champion of the Lowlands, and I got a new pony. This is the prized Eaglan pony. It's the reputation pony for the Eaglan in the Lowlands. I will show you the pony towards the end of the episode. And more exciting, I crafted myself a brand new set of gear to go to Season 5 with. I did do a lot of crafting off screen. I mastered Artisan on woodworking and foresting. Didn't really work on my farming. I also did some crafting on my alts, that way I could craft my guys some nice gear. So let me show you what I got here. Pretty much crafted myself a level 35 set on my tailor, so got Fine Hunter's Helm, Fine Hunter Shoulder Guard, pretty much everything except the cloak, which I got from a quest. The jewelry, it's still pretty outdated. I got these a long time ago from the auction house, and I actually crafted myself a level 35 set of jewelry, but they weren't as good as the ones I have right now, so I'm going to hang on to these a little bit longer. They're pretty much just Ring of the Heart, and then Bracelet of the Rabbit, Necklace of the Heart, and Earrings of the Heart, and I just got them on the auction house. And for my pocket item, I have the Warden symbol, which is something that I got from the reputation vendor for the Eaglan, which I will show you. And then I crafted myself a spear and also a javelin. So these are pretty decent weapons. This is the universal toolkit that I showed you a previous episode. And I also crafted an exceptional Lesser fist carving. That will give me a little bit of bonus. And then my metalsmith made this beautiful Warden shield, which is very nice as well. So that is all of my crafting gear. Now let me update my class points and virtues and all that good stuff. So starting here with virtues, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on mitigations and just working on some defense stuff. So I'm going to stick with innocence, but I'm going to get rid of determination. I'm going to get rid of patience. I'm going to get rid of the discipline as well, and the valor. And I think what I want to go with is, let me go with confidence. It's going to give me some resist rating. And then let me try to, what is this? This is innocence. Let me do fidelity is a pretty good one, because it gives me some tactical mitigation. Let me go with honor as well. A lot of mitigation here and resist rating. Those are the things I'm going to try to stack as far as my virtues are concerned. I think that's going to be a good idea. And I think next up I'm just going to go with tolerance maybe. Tolerance is pretty good. Also going to give me the tactical mitigation and agility. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. And then for my race traits, I already have the Hobbit stature, which gives me 20 might. But Hobbit Stealth is a pretty useful skill, I guess. And Return to Mickle Delving, I'll put that in. And then there's something here that gives me a short stone throw, which is pretty useless, but I might as well put it on there. And then, as far as my points here, I do have 3 that I can spend, so I'm going to finish out the bleeds here. Okay. And then, what is this? Grant Onslaught the ability to consume a bleed. I think I'm just going to start stacking my light damage. So I'll put a couple of points into that for now. And we'll continue that way. Okay, so I will commit these changes. Perfect. So that's that. So next up, let's talk about some of the deeds in the Lowlands. So let me come up here and show you. Of course, I did all the deeds already. There's the exploration deeds, the Slayer deeds, all that kind of stuff. Also the deeds to do a bunch of quests in the Lowlands, which I of course did all of them. Except the ones that are on my spreadsheet that don't have a ring next to it, but those are higher level. They're like level 55 quests that I'll come back to. So then you got the Slayer deeds. So let's start talking about some of the deeds. The first exploration deed here is Defenses of the Lowlands. The Lowlands were once host to a string of forts and towers that guarded the roads against the incursions of Angmar and Rudar. Long ago they fell into ruin with the defeat of the North Kingdom. The first landmark is Barad-dûr-Cynt. The Tower of Barad-dûr-Cynt is the symbolic center of the stronghold of Minas Ariel. Once it rose high above the valleys below and caught the first rays of sunlight as it slanted in over the surrounding mountains. In ruins now, it is only a symbol of glories long lost. Next is Ostleden. Once the primary keep of Minas Ariel, proud knights of the Kingdom of Arnor once issued forth from the gates of Ostleden into the hills and plains below. Now only goblins jeer from the shattered parapets, keeping a dark watch upon those few brave enough to travel into the lowlands. Next is the Lornspan. The Lornspan once bridged a river which flowed near Mithranost, long parched into a dusty gully. Next is Mithranost. Mithranost was once the strongest fortresses of the North Kingdom in days past. Now it is naught but a hiding hole for dwarf brigands in the service of Skorgrim Dourhand. Next is Thandobel. The Tower of Thandobel once guarded the passage between Ostkern and Mithranost. Now it lies in ruin, home to outcast Dourhands. Next is Ostkern. Ostkern once stood vigil against the hillmen of Rudar and the Angmarim of the north. Now orcs use the ruined fortress to lay siege to the barren lowlands. Next is Nayrost. Nayrost was one of the first of the fortresses of the North Kingdom to fall when the Witch King marched upon Amon-Sul. Now half-orc brigands out of the south dwell within the ruined halls. Next is Amon-Ras. Not much now remains of the watchtower upon Amon-Ras, for it was the weakest of the bulwarks of the North Kingdom. Now spiders infest the surrounding gullies and ditches. Finally, we have Ostguruth. Ostguruth served as a stronghold of the North Kingdom in the days of the Witch Realm of Angmar. Now it serves as the temporary home of the Forsaken, the ruined hold of the Eaglein. The next exploration deed is Garth Agarwen Exploration. Garth Agarwen lies in the northeast hills of the lowlands. Once a great fortress of the ancient kingdoms, rumor says it has become a stronghold of corruption and evil. The first landmark is the Circle of Blood. The Circle of Blood is a vile marsh in Heragmar, formed by the corruption overflowing from Agamor in the north. Next is Nandelu. Nandelu was once a beautiful valley before the corruption of Agamor flooded the land. Now it is home to vile creatures of Morgoth who live only to breed terror. Next up is the Outer Gates. This gate opens into the courtyard of Garth Agarwen. Once a fortress of the evil Rudar, now the ruined palace of the Red Maid of Agamor. Next is the Garth Agarwen Gate. This gate leads into the inner sanctuaries of the Red Maid and the vile and corrupted creatures who serve her. Next is Ivar's Crypt. This crypt is the resting place and throne of the God Lord Ivar the Bloodhand, Lord of War, Necromancer in service to Angmar. Finally, there is the Spring of the Red Maid. This is the sanctum of the Red Maid of Agamor, a river maiden corrupted by the blood spilled in her waters during the wars between Angmar and the North Kingdom. The next exploration deed is the Grimfens. The Grimfens are in the southeast extent of the Lowlands. Travelers have avoided this place for as long as any can remember, and for good reason. The first landmark is Ost-Hair. Ost-Hair was a fortress of Arthedain set against the might of Rudar's Garth Agarwen in ancient days. Now fallen into ruin and decay, home to the shades of Oathbreakers sworn to defeat the Red Maid of Agamor. The second and final landmark is Nindor. Nindor was another fortification of Arthedain, overrun by the hillmen of Rudar in the wars with Angmar. Wights summoned by gaunt lords of Morgoth now haunt the ruins. The final exploration deed is Weathertop Exploration. Weathertop is in the western half of the Lowlands. Its proper name of old is Amonsul, and within it once lay one of the Palantir of the ancient kingdoms. The first landmark is Ecod-sul. The Tower of Ecod-sul once guarded the northern approach to Amonsul, but it was destroyed in the battle with Angmar and Rudar. The next landmark is Weatherfoot. Weatherfoot is at the southwest edges of Amonsul, an ancient watchpost now beset on all sides by goblins. Next is Glumhollow. In the northern reaches of the Weather Hills lies Glumhollow, an ancient way station. Orcs have made the place their residence, where they plot the invasion of Eriador. Finally, there is Weathertop. Weathertop, the great hill of Amonsul, was once the site of a great watchtower which was raised by the Witch King of Angmar after he discovered that the Palantir which was once contained within had been taken west by the King of Arthedain. It is a place hallowed by rangers. Next up are the Slayer deeds here in the Lowlands, beginning with the Bog-lurkers. This is probably one of the more frustrating Slayer deeds here in the Lowlands. I like to kill them in this area in Agamor. You can also find them near the Circle of Blood, but I think this is probably the best spot for them. It's a grind, it's a slow deed, but it's a deed. Next up is Craban, and there is a pretty big concentration of them up here at Weathertop. And also, if you go down the hill, there's another cluster of about 4 of them, so you can just run up and down the hill and kill a bunch of these. Not too bad of a deed. Next up we have goblins, and if you have any trouble finding goblins in the Lowlands, you are just silly because they're everywhere. I like to do the deed here in Minas Arial. These guys have more HP than the regular goblins, but hey, that's how I like to roll. You can also find them at the foot of Weathertop. There's some goblin camps there. Just a bunch of places. Next is Orc-slayer. And again, there are plenty of spots to do this. I like some of the orc camps here near the base of Weathertop. I think that these orcs are pretty easy, and it's a good spot for them. Next is Spider-slayer, and I like to do this at Amon-Ross. There's a ton of spiders here. There's also those spider tunnels beneath Minas Arial, but those spiders have much higher HP, are harder to kill, and therefore is slower for the deed. Next is the dreaded Troll Slayer of the Lowlands. You gotta kill a bunch of trolls, they all have a ton of HP. It takes a while to get through this one, but it's pretty fun. And you'll make a lot of money just picking up the drops from these guys if you're just starting out with the game. So it's not too bad. Next is Warg-slayer. And you can find a ton of wargs in Minas Arial where there are the ruins. And also a few of them up here towards where the goblins are. And this deed is... it's not that bad. It's one of the easier ones here. Finally, there is the Wight-slayer deed, and you can find plenty of wights to go around in Nendelu, towards where the Circle of Blood is. It's an easy deed. So next up, let's talk about the Reputation faction in the Lowlands. There's only one of them, and it is the Eglain. So you can see I'm already kindred with them. You can do a bunch of quests, you can kill enemies, you can do all sorts of things to get kindred with them, and honestly, it wasn't that hard to get it. The Eglain, an estranged people of the Lowlands, have shunned the bonds of society for a simple life, eked out in the harsh climes of this forgotten stretch of land along the Great East Road. They have little contact with men or elves and make their livelihood by trading the rare relics that they find exposed in the ruins strewn throughout the Lowlands. So let me actually show you what happens once you get kindred with them. So once you're a kindred, you can talk to this guy over here in Osguruth.
Can I help you with something?
And he has a ton of things to trade. He has some jewelry, he also has some pocket items, which is actually where I got my pocket item. But notably, he has the prized Eglain pony, which is really cool, so I like that. He also has some recipes for things, and if you craft these things, you can get more reputation with the Eglain. And that's pretty much it. He has this thing too, kind of useless. So that's it, guys. Before I head north into the North Downs, I do have a couple of things that I've been hoarding. I do have this Gift for a Master, which requires level 30. I never opened that. And basically give me some mark acquisition, some potions. And then next up, I'll have Gift for a Hero once I hit level 40. And also, when I was recording the season, the 9th annual anniversary for LOTRO came up. Can you believe it? The game's been out for 9 years. And I got a 9-year gift box. So let me go ahead and open and see what's inside here. So I got White Tree Fireworks and also a Blue Orb emote. So let me learn this. And let's see what that looks like. Alright, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool emote. Looks like I'm glancing into a Palantir. Okay, so that's it. Let me set off these new fireworks here to celebrate the end of the season. Let's see what they look like. Always gotta celebrate the end of a season. It's pretty cool fireworks, not gonna lie. So let me get on my new reputation pony, the prized Eglain pony. He's pretty cool. Nice pony. And you can see that I'm at the very north end of Bree here, and going north will take me into North Downs, which will be the site of Season 5. So I have a lot of really cool changes coming to the Lord of the Rings Online series. Next season is going to be super exciting, and get pumped up. I'll see you next time.